Hello there, guys, and welcome back to Reborn with Michael Watson. Today, I'm talking about how surrender has made me successful and how it will make you successful too. You see, what I want to go into is why I'm talking about letting go and surrendering, why I find it the most important thing we must do, even more important than intention. So, before I get into that, if you like Spirituality Simplified, consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Also, please join my free Facebook group, The Healing Circle. I've had a load of new people join up, so I'm just working through adding you all. So I look forward to seeing you on there too. Next week, I'm going to do maybe a free training on there, so come and check it out. Anyway, let's talk about it. How did letting go and surrendering bring me success? Well, here's the thing, right? So, firstly, let me describe a few things. Firstly, I want you to recognize that desire is a divine thing. Excuse me. Unless you're feeling fearful, desire will rise up in you. It doesn't matter how far you go along, eventually you will get a divine stirring within that says, I want more. So I started to recognize that my desires weren't outrageous. They were a divine stirring within that said I could have more. So I stopped thinking that my desires were not possible. And I started to just realize, that this was the key, that to accept my desires. And if I can desire it, it means in some form it's already done. So that's the first breakdown. In some form, when you desire something, it's already done. Neville Goddard talks about this so much, and I wanted to bring it to you today. So I started to study the greats, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, Michael Singer, Joe Dispenza, all of this. Everyone's coming to a similar conclusion. I need to live in the state of being of the wish fulfilled. Pretty much, that's the key. I need to accept it as done before it will physically manifest on the screen of space. So I started to wonder, what is the feeling of the wish fulfilled? What is the essential feeling of the wish fulfilled? I want to understand it. Well, the more that I started to study spirituality as a whole, and I loved listening to the greats like Michael Singer and all that, and I started to realize that if I can become very present, non-reactive to reality, that suddenly I find this sense of inner peace. So I started to work on surrendering. What do I mean by letting go and surrendering? A lot of people think letting go is when you go, right, here's my desire, forgot about it, never again do I need to think about it again, see you later. All right? What actual surrender is detachment from outcome, detachment from what's going on, meaning basically not making anything outside of yourself more important than the inner environment. And this started to coincide with the teachings of Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard. And I was like, wow, okay, I really, really need to start to explore this. So Joseph Murphy says, the Bible says, worship no other God but me. Now, Joseph Murphy may not have said this. I think I might have even just come to this conclusion. But it says you start to make gods of other things outside of yourself. So God of money, for example, because we're talking about success here. I'm starting to make a god of money. And I tell you, money was a god over me. It used to affect my mood so much. But once I started to surrender to life, let go of emotional attachment to money and other things, it started to lose its power over me. How did I surrender? Well, I became very highly aware of my emotions towards things. Because what the truth is situations happen. You either see it as bad or good. Well, I started to decide to be divinely indifferent. Divine indifference is the key here. Now, this is probably going to be one of my most explaining videos ever, so I hope you enjoy. Divinely indifferent is what I started to come to. So anytime I would pay money, I used to, in the past, be like, feel like there's some sort of loss or the transaction is lacking. Instead, I used to start to work with the emotion and observe those emotions and let them release. And I used to claim this this money comes back to me multiplied. What's started to happen then is every time I pay money, I don't feel a loss. I feel like it's a transaction, and however it wants to come back to me, it will come back to me through the grace of the divine or God. You see, there is only one source of supply for all things: health, wealth, love, and all of that. So when I realize that God is the source of my supply and all my needs are met now and forever, it means that I did not have to be concerned about how these things came to me. They would come through the channels that I created. That channel happened to be a coaching business where I claimed that I would have great successes with my clients. Well, I've already had another amazing success this week. And when she feels happy to share it, I will share it with you guys as well. But it's beautiful. After 3 sessions, an absolute healing. Well, anyway, let's continue. So I started to not make getting clients my God. I started to go to the within. So every time I felt the reaction towards finances or success, like the sort of twang of, I need this, I want this, I would actually sit with and I'd say, here's a chance for me to let go of that part of myself, the false part of myself that believes in lack and limitation. So I would work with that energy, and suddenly I would start to release it, and it would start to, I would start to feel at peace. I would start to feel present. And I'm going to explain that a bit more in a moment. So then I would become intentional from that place, just a slight bit of intention, but it was the surrendering and letting go that got me into the state of alignment. You see, there's a constant stream of good that wants to flow for you and through you. It literally made this universe. It designed all of this, gravity and otherwise, without any of your conscious awareness. It didn't need you to create such majesty and perfection. So what I started to realize is my ego of it having to go the way that I want is the thing getting in the way, because I'm starting to say that I know better than God or the divine presence. So I started to try and let go of my emotions, my emotional reactions. So I stopped having ego towards things that were happening. Anyway, so once that started to release, I had no real emotion around money, besides the fact that I had somehow normalized the idea of all my needs have been met and there's always a divine surplus. So it started to feel natural for me for success to start to grow. Well, it happened in stages. I was guided to meet a wonderful client in Dubai, work with them very closely. They inspired me to take some action, and I listened to that action, and I was again surrendering and guided to take that action. You see, surrender isn't sitting there doing nothing. It's listening to that little divine guidance within you. And then I started to hire mentors and do things like this. Very gentle action, not working hard, just guided each step of the way. You should try this, and it felt right, so I did it. What's happened is it's turned out that success to me isn't measured by my own financial gain. It's measured by the success of my clients, and also then the reciprocation of that value back to me. And that is exactly the space that I'm in at the moment, through the idea of surrender. How many of you out there are looking for more abundance or more success in your business? I'm telling you, your emotional reactions towards the things and wanting it to go exactly the way you want it is actually holding you back from the treasure house of the divine that lives within you. Start to let go. Stop being so responsive and start to be guided. Divine guidance. I like this sentence. Repeat it regularly. I'm divinely guided to make wonderful, new, innovative ideas in my business, and I attract wonderful, high-paying clients who get great success working with me. I'm willing to let go and trust this now. This has been the game changer for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to see you in the next one, guys. Take care.